All right, everyone, we're back with another great episode of the Santa Fe Gloom Podcast. Would like to do a special thanks to our sponsors, Mercedes-Benz of Santa Fe, City of Santa Fe Economic Development, and as always, Dose Santa Fe. I'm not sure if you guys do Frito Pies, but Michael, reach out to me and text me if you guys do. On our last podcast, we kind of touched on just your great green chili and all the food. So the jury is out if we've got Frito pies at Pantry Dose. Anyways, exciting guest today in Luke. Luke, thank you for taking some time out of your crazy college days and just hanging out with our Santa Fe Gloom community.
Oh no, thank you, David. Of course. I mean, we miss this for the world.
Yeah, no, it's exciting, Luke. I mean, I feel like soccer is definitely growing in Santa Fe. You've been
Mhm.
out of Santa Fe for a couple years, but share with us, your story of growing up in Santa Fe and your first memories of playing soccer in a place that you grew up in.
God, I mean, first memories of me playing soccer. I have to go back to like the Downs when I was 8. I mean, my some of my best soccer memories are these 3v3 tournaments I used to have when we were 10. Yeah, so I used to just purely play for fun. And then in sixth grade, I remember going out to a Santa Fe prep state soccer tournament. It was the finals, and I was just amazed by the level of talent. I knew I was going to prep, and prep felt like the national team to me. Like going to prep, representing my school, that just seemed amazing. So from there, I decided I wanted to be on the varsity team, and I would pretty much do anything it took to get on there. So sixth, seventh, eighth grade, I just grinded. Yeah, I just tried my best to improve my skills. Then varsity preseason came along, and gave it my best effort. But my best friend made the team. I didn't, and I took that incredibly personal. I was like, I'm never going to feel this again. And if this coach gives me a chance to step back on that field, he is never going to take me off. So the season went by. I would just shoot him emails all the time. Coach, let me in, put me in.
And Luke, you're a freshman at this time?
I was a freshman in high school, yes.
Okay, got it.
Yes,
Cool.
this is first year of high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would just reach out to him, do anything I could to get a look. And that look didn't come until about 2 weeks left in the season, right before they had their first state soccer game. I remember a coach emailed me. One of their players got hurt. He was like, "We need someone. How would you like to step up?" And I was honored to, represent the team. So state game comes along. I'm ready to go in. I'm not expecting to get any minutes at all. Like I'm already overwhelmed. It meant a lot to me. And we go down 3-0 to a good Moriarty team, and we're kind of in shock. And the players are getting mad, and a fight breaks out. And the kid who plays my position gets hurt. And that's when I get subbed in, and then from that minute on, I mean, I, I, I kept with my promise and made sure he never subbed me off again. So I would go on to play, make varsity the next year, play every minute of every game, unless I got injured, which happened a couple times. I had some weird injuries. Um, yeah, and then eventually graduated as a senior. Um, Getting all district honors, second team all state, and then we made to the state semis that year, and I captained that team. So it was a good ride.
Any cards in that fight?
There's definitely some cards. I mean, I don't necessarily remember. I was there's definitely some cards were dished out for sure.
Yeah, probably maybe a couple yellows, I guess, right?
Yeah, maybe a yellow, maybe a red. Who knows?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean, that's great, man. Like that's how the best stories start is with like a soccer fight and then like a new player stepping on and then
Hmm.
never stepping back off the field, right? So
Yeah.
amazing story. What drove you like just internally? Like I can hear it in your voice that like you just wanted to play so bad and prove it maybe to the soccer community, to yourself, to your family. But what were some of the things that like when you went to bed at night that you were thinking about saying, once I step onto that field, I'm never gonna step off.
Hmm. Well, it was the goal. It was I wanted to be a varsity player, and that feeling that I had when he told me no, completely just I was devastated, and I was like, I'm never going to feel this again.
Yeah.
And instead of taking it the wrong way and just getting completely rattled and not necessarily being myself, I was like, okay, like let's use this as a growing moment. Let's grow on this. Let's go. It's now or never. Yes. Then from that point on, I would do anything and everything I could to reach that level. I mean, if we had practice and I had nothing, I would go out and play by myself. I go for runs by myself. A lot of it was self-driven, kind of working with the lights off.
Yeah.
Yeah, curtains closed work. So it was, yeah, it was mainly just self-motivation and just believing that if I worked hard enough, I could get to this goal. But I knew it would take hard work.
Absolutely. And talk us through your club days and then also your club getting to Division I soccer. We spoke a
Yeah.
little bit yesterday, and I feel like there's literally a handful of soccer players that have come out of Santa Fe that have played Division I soccer. I think we spoke of Alex, right, who's at the University of Michigan.
Yeah.
I can't think of very many, right? So, I mean, Luke, you're what we speak of, right? Like those kids that are like an 8th grade freshman, they now want to become you, being a varsity standout and then going and play Division I soccer. Like you're it. So talk us through like your club experience, how that gave you that exposure to that Division I, those Division I teams.
Yeah. Well, firstly, I like to say there is a lack of exposure for New Mexican soccer. I mean, I think the New Mexico United Academy is doing a great thing. I think that is probably the main outlet in New Mexico to get exposure. There's some club teams in Albuquerque that do a good job of continue showcases. But being from Santa Fe, the only way that I could get a good club experience was if I drove the hour to Albuquerque, and that was exhausting. So I wouldn't do it as often as I would have liked. So it was kind of just, yeah, a lot of it was just going out playing by myself. And then once I realized I was in the recruiting process, COVID struck, and I was just shooting emails out to any and every coach that I could possibly find, and just trying to tone my abilities. So, I mean, I guess when I decided I wanted to play college soccer was with a team called the Pateadores up in Albuquerque. I remember I always wanted to play college soccer. I just did not think it was possible. I had no role model to look after. I didn't know what the standard was.
Right.
And I played against some player good player, committed to go play D3. And I was like, wow, this guy's not that much better than me. Like, I can do this if I work hard enough. I had something visible that I could push towards. And then as I started to develop as a player, I was like, why not go for it all? Why not try to get to the Division I level? Why cut myself short? And you know what? Worst case, I don't get to play Division I. At least I can say I tried. So from there, it was just complete grind. Do anything I can, get on a strict weightlifting routine, strict practice routine, diet, just anything that could give me a leg over the other kids that was my competition. I would take.
Yeah, and the competition is extremely steep, right? I mean, there's only so many Division I teams, and there's a lot of club players. There's tens of thousands of club players that are looking to reach a Division I roster, which is, I don't know, 15 to 20 spots, right? So, I mean, for you able to make it to that Division I, it's an unbelievable story. Like I mentioned earlier, like you're one of the very few in Santa Fe that have made it there. When you got that initial call or email that you did make that Division I team, and remind me what team and what school you're playing for, kind of talk us through that and like what led you there. Was it a showcase tournament? Where were you? Just kind of those details, and what position do you play as well?
Yeah, so I was playing center back my senior year. They started filming the games my senior year, which was COVID season, happened in the spring actually. And I sent the game film to one of my to the Bucknell coach. And the interesting thing about this game film was I caused a PK. I did a horrible slide tackle, messed it up. But I told the coach, I was like, hey, I made this mistake. Look how I respond.
Yeah, there you go.
Life after that. Some that he liked. He's like, we like you as a player, but we need to see more out of you. So I decided to do a postgraduate year up at a school called Berkshire, which is a boarding school up in Massachusetts. And then from there, I would talk to Bucknell occasionally. It wasn't. I was completely shocked when I got the offer. So we had a showcase in Philadelphia, and apparently
explain to our audience like what a showcase tournament is. Like, what exactly does that mean? Who goes there? Why? And who's there watching?
it's a bunch of teams that go and they play at the same location, and this is just where all the college coaches will go. They will go, they'll switch between games, they'll watch different teams play, different ages. It's basically a tournament.
Okay. And did you get in? Was that like a invite showcase, or was that a general showcase for club teams?
So the boarding school league out east has a ton of college soccer exposure. There's a coach watching every single game that you're playing in, 100%. So when we like the boarding schools would have these tournaments in places like Philadelphia, or we just have these away games, things like that.
Yeah.
And when you're there, you see all these coaches with different hats. You're playing. You're like, oh crap, there's the BC coach. Oh my god, like all these coaches are watching you play, and it's on. The pressure is on, and you have to perform.
Amazing. No, that's great. And then talk us through that feeling when you did get that Division I offer. Like, what did it feel like?
Yeah, so they sent me an email. They're like, hey, do you have time for a quick call? It shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. I'm like, yeah. They just want to just kind of update me, whatnot. And then the coach offered me, and I swear to God, I was speechless. Like, he called me off me. I didn't speak for 3 minutes. I didn't know what to say. I was like, I worked for this thing for so long, and it was completely surreal. Like, I didn't talk for 2 minutes. He's like, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, like, is this serious? And I called my mom, and I was in shock too. I was like, I think I just got offered. Like, I need to like, is this like a dream? Like, I had no idea what was going on. Yeah, then I immediately accepted it. Like, as soon as I was able to take it all in and process it, I just called back and I was like, hey, I'm in. Let's do this thing.
Unbelievable. No, congratulations. And talk us through kind of your first year of playing Division I soccer and everything you learned. I know it's so fast paced because you're leaving home, right? So there's so many different things. You're missing those Frito pies. You're missing that green chili. You're missing home. You're by yourself, right?
Yeah.
So you got some independence. You're also going to school. So kind of talk us through that, that process as well, because that's extremely hard. I went through it myself. And, I was a lot closer to home. I can sometimes come home during the weekends. But talk us through, for our audience or future players who want to become, a person like yourself, just how difficult it really is, right? And then some of the awards that you get for playing Division I soccer.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can give some background context on Bucknell. So we are in the Patriot League. Middle size Division I. We play against teams. We're in the same conference as teams like Boston University, Navy, Army. Then some smaller D1s such as Lehigh, Lafayette, Loyola, Maryland.
So those are the big boys. Those are like real teams, real universities that you're playing against, and you're training against those guys.
Yeah, I mean, going and playing away at schools like Boston University and Army was unbelievable. Their facilities are top tier. It's insane. So basically I committed, and about a month after I committed, my coach actually got fired. So I signed a commitment to play for Bucknell, and then my coach was out the door. The new guy came in. He brought all his own recruits. So I knew I was in for a dogfight. And once again, I knew it was unlikely that I was going to be playing after my freshman year after that. I mean, it's a business, and that's what happens. But kind of the same mentality I've had all my life is I'm gonna fight for it, and I'm gonna if I don't get it, I'm gonna give it all I got. I'm not leaving anything out there. So we sent out a fitness packet for the summer, followed it religiously, and it was insanely difficult, by the way. Like, I could tell you all the stories of me throwing up after it was horrible. It was insane. Preseason came along and I felt ready. I felt like I belonged. Then we had our first preseason game, and I was one of the only players that didn't get any minutes, and I kind of from that moment on, I was like, okay, like this is going to be tough. And then the season went on. I talked to him. I was like, hey, just give me a chance. He's like, I'm probably not going to. And I was like, okay, like that's fine. But I'm still going to work as hard as I possibly can. Then season ended, and it seemed completely doubtful. I mean, if I thought I had a 0.0001% chance of everything on the field, I would have stuck it out. But I was like, okay, I think there's more to life than soccer at this school. And as important soccer was to me, it didn't feel like it was worth all that time commitment for for no playing time. So it's like how can I stick with soccer though? So that's kind of how I'm trying to get back to the Santa Fe community and show people that it is possible to play Division One.
Yeah. So again, you're like that 1% that made it, right? That made it out of Santa Fe. That's going to a very prestigious school and
Mm-hmm.
playing soccer. So, I mean, you're the role model, man. So, I mean, I think your soccer career, I don't think it's over, right? Maybe at the collegiate level, it could be
Mm-hmm.
over. But, again, you just spoke to a great point of, giving back to the Santa Fe community where you grew up on.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the Santa Fe Gloom
Yeah.
just waiting for you to play some futsal and eventually arena soccer, right?
Yeah, we'll
Um,
see.
so switching gears a little bit too, talk about the New Mexico United, right? And just kind of your first memories there, and then for our audience and our fans, Luke, your family owns the New Mexico United,
Mm-hmm.
and just give us your opinion, on what direction New Mexico United is going now with the new facility, and just kind of again like some of your first memories. And for what it's worth, I think the New Mexico United has done an amazing job in New Mexico. I know your dad talks about it's New Mexico United, and then the next word he says community, right? I've really adopted
Yep.
that into our Santa Fe Gloom fabric, right, in Santa Fe. So
Mm-hmm.
just kind of talk us through your experiences with New Mexico United and just some of those conversations you've had with your family about the team.
Yeah, I mean, I think United is the perfect name for the team. I think it truly unites a state. I I mean, I wish people could truly see what my dad's intentions are. He's using it as a way to bring the community together and just give something that everyone can have in common. Like people from different backgrounds, this and that, they all can unite over the soccer team. And when everyone's in that stadium, you have 10,000 people waving the flag, hoping that opening night, Devin Sandoval puts in the net. It's truly special, and everyone is on the same page.
Yep.
And additionally, I think there's just so much community involvement with the team. I think there's so many charities. I mean, the academy team's completely free.
Yeah.
That's an expense, and that's something that's rare. I mean, I think it's showing that the team is community focused, and its purpose is to further develop soccer in the state. It's not for he's doing it for community purposes.
Yeah, no, I think you're touching on great points with Devin Sandoval, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's a local guy from Albuquerque, correct?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, he played at University of New Mexico, and then he scored the first goal in the history of New Mexico United's. You know,
Yeah, I
I mean,
remember it.
that's exactly what your family's setting up is just that community vibe that there's
Mm-hmm.
paths to play, at the highest level for the New Mexico United. So I mean, I think that's so special because us, kind of as Santa Fe kids, we feel left out, right? Or I'll even speak for like New Mexico kids because we don't have like that Dallas Cowboy, Denver Bronco team to cheer for. But ever since the New Mexico United came to New Mexico to Albuquerque, like that's our Denver Bronco and Cowboy team, right?
Yeah.
And I just think that's so special. I think the colors fit, the marketing is on point, right? So I think everything that your family's doing is just completely amazing for our community.
Mm-hmm.
I've spoken to your dad a couple times, and he's always willing to give and to help, right? Even though the Santa Fe Glooms, just we're barely starting up, he's always been there and supported us. So definitely want to give a thanks, to your family and to him for investing into our community. I think it's great.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure he appreciates. I mean, that guy put in so much time and effort.
Still is.
He wanted it to be perfect, and
Yeah.
I do think is perfectly tailored to the community needs. I mean, something that I'll say that he's done that I thought was really cool is with the U23 team, the USL2 team,
Hmm.
their home games would not be in Albuquerque alone. They would play games across the state. So like it's kind of like that same theme of exposing the team to the whole state and making sure that everyone feels like they are part of it, because everyone is. I mean, everyone that drives by with a sticker on their license plate, everyone can be a part of it.
That's right. Yeah. So I mean, they've got the USL2 team. They've
Mm-hmm.
got games like Taos, right? I know they
Yep.
came to Capitol High School in Santa Fe. So
Mm-hmm.
they're all over the place. And again, to
Yeah.
your point, I think that's just it's bigger than soccer, right? And I even know some of their kits from this last season had the Taos logo, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's just brilliant. I mean, it's just northern New Mexico
Hmm.
and also, the Metro Albuquerque area. It's not just the Metro Albuquerque area that gets the love, but it's
Yeah.
also Taos, right? So I think those are all great things.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's also shown on the jersey sponsor. I mean, we're not
Yeah,
sponsored by GMC or Coca-Cola. We're sponsored by Meow Wolf
that's right. Santa Fe
and
Company.
the Taos Ski Valley.
That's right.
So it's also in that sense trying to promote the local economy. It's yeah, I truly do wholeheartedly believe the team is a great thing for the state.
100%. Yeah, the Santa Fe Gloom community feels exactly the same way. Is there an update on the stadium? I know that they're close to hopefully breaking ground, right? And
Hmm.
speaking on the economic development point, I mean that's
Yeah.
going to spruce up so many things for the Albuquerque area and obviously for our state. But I
Hmm.
mean that's something that we're jealous of in Santa Fe. Is we don't have like that marquee venue where a Santa Fe Gloom team could play or other recreational sports could start to develop and having even a bigger audience.
Hmm.
So any sneak peeks on if or when that stadium is being developed?
Yeah, I personally have no idea. I mean, I could talk to my dad about it.
Yeah, cool.
I think a lot of it he's kind of keeping to himself right now. So we'll see.
We're gonna cross our fingers, right? Because
Yeah.
we're all rooting
Yeah.
for it. I know that they've had, just so many discussions with, city leaders and state leaders on how to get this across the finish line.
Hmm.
So I think it's a brilliant idea, and I think it's amazing.
Hmm.
Um, touch on the local Santa Fe clubs, right? You kind of touched on it earlier,
Hmm.
but kind of speaking on if you're 16, 17, or no, let's go back. Let's say you're 8 years old, right? And you're at
Yes.
the Downs, right? How can the Santa Fe soccer community improve future players like yourself to play that Division 1 level?
Yeah.
I'm always talking to Scott at Northern Soccer Club. I'm definitely a believer in what they're doing. Give us, as a player, right? Give us some nuggets on how to improve the Santa Fe culture of soccer.
Yeah. I think like most thing, it starts bottom up. I think there needs to be a stronger club system in place. I mean, Albuquerque has a great club system. That's why a lot of players from Albuquerque go on to play college and not from Santa Fe. There's not that accessible structure in place in Santa Fe, and there is talent in Santa Fe. I This past summer, after I stopped playing, I chose to do individual soccer coaching or small group coaching, and these kids are uber talented,
Yeah.
but their teams are just so it's not as organized as it can be, and they're not getting the exposure that they could be receiving. So I do think there's talent. I just think it needs to be pieced together in a better way where all the talent of Santa Fe can unite and make some club team and have a structured system where they can compete against these teams and get this exposure.
Yeah. No, that's great, Luke. Thank you for sharing that. I think you've just got your job description written for you for when
Yeah.
you come back to Santa Fe to do exactly that and to link up with, like the New Mexico Runners who do arena soccer, right? The Santa
Hmm.
Fe Gloom at the moment, we're doing futsal, right? With the New Mexico Academy, linking all of those teams together, I think could be something that you could potentially do in the future with someone like yourself because you know all sides of it, right? You're also studying finance,
Yeah.
right? So you've got that business mind as well. That's one thing that our Santa Fe community, and we preach this all the time, is Luke, is that we want you to get educated, go out into the workplace, but we want you to come back to our community.
Hmm. Yeah.
Obviously if you choose to, but there's so much potential, and we need people like you to come back for those 10, 11-year-old kids who are saying, I want to play Division 1 soccer,
Hmm.
and I want to play for the New Mexico United. They're looking up to people like yourself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're definitely always invited back home to a Gloom game. And I mean, you're the guy, man. I mean, we preach this all the time, even with our guests that we've had on with like Youth Works. They're saying we need to keep our young people at home, right? And we've
Hmm.
also got to have them enjoy a college experience like yourself and then get them back, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a double-edged sword. So,
Yeah.
um, it-
Well, I'll see where my career path takes me, and I will contribute no matter what, whether I'm in Santa Fe or wherever. I will always be looking to get back to the soccer community because I think has so much potential and the power to change lives. So
Yeah.
anything I can do to help, I will do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. No, thank you, Luke. We'll definitely have you on again, and definitely check in with our Santa Fe Gloom games.
Yeah.
And Luke, thank you so much, man. Good luck with your soccer career, because I have a feeling you're going to be playing maybe not at a different school, but a USL team somewhere. I don't sense that soccer's out of your blood quite yet, and even obviously coaching and private coaching.
Yeah.
I could see you having a footprint really for the rest of your life, right? And I think that's the cool thing about soccer is it's it's linking these types of relationships and just having this forever. It's always a special bond, especially in a small community like New Mexico and especially Santa Fe.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see where the soccer situation goes. We'll see how it goes.
Great, Luke. Thank you, man. You're the 1% in Santa Fe. So many guys look up to you. I mean, go Santa Fe Prep Soccer. You guys have been such a great program, the boys and the girls. So, Luke, I mean, you're the man, bro. Thank you so much for taking the time, and we'll have you on again.
No, thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Great. Thanks, Luke.
All right. Thank you.